This episode is brought to you by Shopify. Forget the frustration of picking commerce platforms when you switch your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling wherever you sell. With Shopify, you'll harness the same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech, all lowercase. That's shopify.com/tech.
Brooks Running has a new shoe for you runners out there. Did you hear that? Better turn up your volume. In fact, turn it up to the max. Introducing the all-new Ghost Max. It's got all kinds of things to make your knees and ankles feel protected, like Max Cushion, Max Soft Landings with DNA Loft V2 foam, and Max Smooth Rides with their Glide Roll Rocker. Feel better on your run with Ghost Max. Learn more at brooksrunning.com.
Welcome to the Age of Jeremy. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to this podcast. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Age of Jeremy. I'm the leader in tax, investment, and business advice. Also follow our podcast network, The Age of Radioverse, on Instagram at Age of Radioverse, or on Twitter at Age of Radio, part of the Age of Radio media company that I own. Currently, we have over 100 podcasts, and we are continuing to grow. You can check out those podcasts by going to ageofradio.org. Or more specifically, you can go to ageofradio.org/shows to see all of the shows. You can also check me out on TikTok at Age of Jeremy, and you can also head on over to Twitter at Age of Jeremy Q. If you want to be on this podcast and chat, email me at jeremy.quintanilla@ageofradio.org. That will be in the episode description below. We are looking for small business owners and influencers to share their stories, no matter how small, no matter how big. We just love a good story. If you haven't gotten your ticket yet for the 2022 Freedom Conference by 3T Warrior Events, which is owned by 3T Warrior Academy, it is a wealth building conference. Coach JV will be talking about mindset. Porter Shumway will be talking about insurance and how to grow your wealth with insurance vehicles. Crypto influencer Bearable Bull will be live stream in and talking about crypto. Jordan Harry will be speaking about speed learning. We will also have our technical analysis team and crypto research team there hosting panels. So make sure that you check that out. All right, let's get on with the show. My name is Jeremy Quintanilla. You are listening to Age of Jeremy. I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm the co-founder of Age of Radio and 3T Fitness, and, well, other businesses that I am working on. This podcast is about everything that I learn and the trials and tribulations it took to learn them. I hope you enjoy. One of the most important things you can do for your business, whether it is by yourself or with a bunch of other people, is to have a marketing strategy. Most businesses and influencers I work with have no real plan in place and how to bring awareness to their company, how to acquire a customer or retain that customer. I want to talk about the acquisition piece of the puzzle today, but before I talk about one of the best ways to acquire business, I want to reiterate that it is much more expensive to acquire customers than to retain them. I bring this up because if you're starting your business or trying to grow your business, you will need to understand that it's going to cost you money to acquire those clients or customers or whatever you want to call them. Now, acquisition of a customer is the hardest and most expensive piece of a marketing strategy. However, I feel that the best place to start with any type of marketing strategy, whether you're just getting started as an influencer, as maybe a YouTube content creator or some other type of content creator, or if you have a manufacturing business or any other type of business, one of the best places to start in your marketing strategy is what I like to call content marketing and what the world likes to call content marketing. So content marketing is a marketing strategy that focuses on creating, publishing, and distributing valuable and relevant content online with the purpose of reaching a targeted audience and incentivizing profitable customer action. So ultimately, content marketing is a critical component for long-term sustainable growth. There is nothing more important, in my opinion, than content marketing. Now, let me give you a few examples so you can get a really good understanding of what I'm talking about. One of the most popular ones that I'm sure you are currently trying right now is social media. You are creating content, you're publishing it, and you're distributing it, and probably asking people to go to your YouTube or Linktree or maybe to your website. And that is essentially what content marketing is. Now, some more advanced examples include probably one of the oldest ones, one of my favorite ones. It's the Furrow by John Deere. The Furrow was established by John Deere Company in 1895. Again, 1895. And it's a journal for the American farmer. The goal of the magazine remains the same, to tell stories that people enjoy reading and provide them with knowledge that they can apply in their operations. Now, it's a free journal that John Deere uses to provide a ridiculous amount of free value that will either help acquire new customers or retain old ones. So if you have, say, a farm and you are, growing crops and you're selling them, you would probably enjoy this journal. Or if it's something that you're wanting to get into the future, you would go to this journal to get like articles and examples. And then from that knowledge base, it's either going to retain you if you were already a John Deere customer, or if you're getting into that business, it will kind of drive you to become a John Deere customer. And it also is a great lead magnet for John Deere. Another common one for businesses specifically, or for influencers, is utilizing a podcast. One of my favorites is Red Hat Linux's Command Line Heroes. It is now in its 9th season, and it tells the history that shaped modern day computing and programming. I like using this one as an example because a lot of the times when we are trying content marketing, what you end up doing is you just end up advertising or talking about the product that you're selling. And Red Hat, although they advertise during breaks in this podcast, or maybe they sell some of that ad space, I can't remember right off the top of my head if they're selling it or they're just doing Red Hat. But the rest of the time, it's just providing ridiculous value by sharing the history of computers and programming. And it is by far one of my favorite podcasts. While researching for this episode, I came across a HubSpot article, which is a customer relationship management tool. And it's a customer relationship manager tool that both Age of Radio and Freed Up Asset Management Group uses to manage our client base. And they have a great piece of content marketing about some tips around content marketing. Now, I'm going to pick some of my favorites and elaborate on it, but there's going to be a link in the episode description so you can go and see all of the different types of tips and tricks that they have for you when you're building out your content marketing strategy, because I am telling you right now, you need to have one. It is an absolute must to have a good planned content strategy. And here's some of the things that you're going to need to think about. So the number one thing that you're going to need to think about is you need to make sure that you have a goal. Now, I know that this sounds pretty straightforward, but if you don't know what you're trying to achieve, you will never achieve it. Now, let's face it, if you can create content for each social media platform to target a different demographic, that would be fantastic. And you could do that by maybe making ebooks, design a free course, start a YouTube channel, do Twitter Spaces, make a podcast. I mean, it's really easy to start creating for each area, but let's face it, again, each one has its own different demographic. So you need to make sure you are A, choosing the right one, and B, making sure that you have a goal for each one. For instance, let's say you decide you want to lean heavily into a blogging strategy. Simply crafting and publishing content isn't enough. Instead, it's important that you identify your target audience and decide how your content can best serve that group. Additionally, you'll want to use analytics to ensure your content is able to reach the right people with the appropriate search intent. Once you identify how to serve your audience, you'll want to ask yourself, how does this tie back to my business? While it's critical that you write quality content or create quality content to grow your audience, it won't attract prospects if you don't tie it back to your business. The biggest failure that I see is that people don't tie the content back to their businesses, or they don't know how the content ties back to their business. You have to attract people with your content marketing that have an affinity for your business or businesses. Affinity means that the people that consume your content have some relationship to the product or service that you provide. For example, I might have a Twitch channel if I also sell a course on how to do cryptocurrency. Reason being is the Twitch community has an affinity for cryptocurrencies and they fit that specific target demographic. Now, I build a great free Twitch stream, maybe I sell some ads, but then every week while I play games, I talk to them about crypto and push them to crypto courses, or I play to earn games that are built on the blockchain, and then I push them over to my crypto course. That's an example of an affinity and how you want to make sure that the group that you are targeting with the content, right, they fit with your product and service, and that you're tying it back to that product and service within the content that you're creating. Which brings me to the second most important thing. You need to know your audience. Content marketing is all about attracting the right audience. That is, those who are most likely to engage with your brand and buy your products. But you can't write content that attracts the right content, right? Or create content, because this is coming from some of the HubSpot article. So write content or create content that attracts the right audience until you know your audience. As you get larger, you can conduct surveys to find out who your customer is, and you may have different customers for different items. But the best place to start is to create an avatar or a buyer's persona. This is the ideal customer who is served by your products and or services. Then you make content they would like where they hang out, like Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, etc. Now, a failure that I made really early on, and I'm just trying to fix right now and trying to get better at it, is that when you were into podcasts or talk radio, a lot of those types of people, they're on Twitter. And I wasn't utilizing Twitter really. And I just started utilizing Twitter a lot this year. And it makes sense, but it makes sense that the podcast and the talk radio, and maybe this isn't the best way to say it, but like the geekdom and the nerddom that goes with podcasts also goes with sharing your opinions and your thoughts. And Twitter is a great place to do that. And that's why it makes sense. But when I got in the online marketing game, the people that I was around, they were obsessed with Facebook and Instagram. And I was sucked into that. And the sad thing is there are lots of many channels out there to distribute content, and you need to find who your audience is and where they hang out and then market to that area with the content that you are creating. So let's take a quick break. And when we get back, we will talk about a few more tips that I have found from this HubSpot article that may help with your content marketing strategy.
TIAA is on a mission. Why? Because 54% of Black Americans don't have enough savings to retire. So in collaboration with big-name artists like Wyclef Jean, TIAA released Paper Right, new music inspiring a new financial future. With 100% of streaming sales going to a nonprofit that teaches students how to invest. Stream Paper Right now and help close the gap.
It's time to say goodbye to hold music and say hello to fast customer support with Service Cloud. With trusted AI and data working together, you can skip long wait times and deliver efficient, personalized service right away, all while keeping support costs low and more customers happy. Reimagine your customer support with the #1 AI CRM for service. Learn what's possible at salesforce.com/products/service.
Okay, so the third most important item is solving for the reader, the listener, or the viewer. However someone is consuming it, it needs to do one of two things. It needs to educate or it needs to help someone solve a problem. While the objective is to generate leads or to drive consumers towards a purchase, you also want to establish your brand as a trustworthy source of information first. Then, after they come to trust you, the consumer can convert and turn it into a paying customer. That is what we do here at 3T. So we spent many years building trust on social media. So now whenever we do an ask, we usually can either turn that person into a customer, or we can get them into a free channel to get them into over to a lead magnet to then put them into a campaign to then turn them into a customer. So every piece of content should solve for the person that's consuming that content by answering their questions, offering useful resources and tips, and getting them slowly acquainted with what you offer and how you can help. And the key here is the word slowly. Slowly get them acquainted. What I see all the time is businesses or influencers or content creators, whoever, they start TikToks or Instagrams and they just start pushing their product or service. That's one of the worst things that you can do. They have to provide value, or you have to provide value after value after value after value. And then when you don't think that you can even give any more value, you need to give them more value and establish trust, slowly integrating them into the things that you sell or that you are involved with. Now, HubSpot provides the following example. So if your brand offers vacation rentals, your content should revolve around travel and provide important information that potential travelers need. You would write city-specific travel guides or make city-specific videos, lists of best places to visit, or show them on a YouTube channel some of the best places to visit, some of the best practices for traveling solo, traveling with the group, traveling with your family, and so forth. Once the consumer of the content continues to come to you as an authoritative source of information, they will trust you enough to make you their provider of whatever it is you're selling. Or if you have a free magnet, some type of free other product that gets them to put them into a campaign where they can give you their email address, that is also a step forward because they're trusting you, they're giving you their email address, and then they're putting the vacation rental in this case, they're putting that into a campaign, and then that campaign is continuing to target you with other information and hopefully turn you into a customer. And so that is probably one of the most important things. In fact, I would even suggest that this could even be the most important thing, is that you have to provide value after value after value and integrate people slowly into your ecosystem. So then you also need to learn to repurpose content. And hopefully I'm using repurpose right. Because there's repurpose and remarketing, but and they kind of go together, I guess. And so I'm just going to use repurpose here. So it takes time and talent to craft highly useful, engaging content. So by finding ways to recycle existing content, you are ensuring peak efficiency. Additionally, repurposing content allows you to reach new audiences. For instance, let's say your podcast team published a really good episode. Why not turn that episode topic into a blog post? So for example, my best podcast so far this year has been a run about Ethereum. It was called A Look at Ethereum, or Come Shard With Me, A Look at Ethereum. And it has had the most downloads that I've had on an episode in a very long time, especially since I don't stay consistent, which is another tip that's on here, but I'm not going to talk about. You need to stay consistent. And so when I could take all of the concepts that I talked about in that episode and I could repurpose that into, say, a blog post, or I could repurpose it into a YouTube channel. So a YouTube channel post. It would just be the same type of content. I would just be repurposing it in a different format to target people. Okay. That's what full repurposing is. Now, you can also do kind of something what like Joe Rogan does, which is similar to repurposing or remarketing. And so what he does, especially since they're just on Spotify, that video on Spotify now and the audio on Spotify is just on Spotify. So they still take some of those clips and they repurpose them or remarket them on TikTok, and they repark it and repurpose them onto YouTube or onto Instagram or to Reels or wherever the case is, so that people can see that again and then drive them over to Spotify to listen or to subscribe or to join or whatever the case is. Now, alternatively, you created a really good blog post that performed significantly well. Now you might reconsider creating a YouTube video that covers a similar topic to reach an audience that prefers video over text. Okay, so repurposing your content allows people more opportunities to see it. Remember, there is so much content out there coming at people so fast. Some of your best content may need to resurface. So try resurfacing it in the original and in new platforms. Now, the last tip that I want to talk about is maintaining your brand voice across all channels. Whether you visit Spotify's Twitter page, YouTube account, or stumble across one of its billboard advertisements, you can quickly get a sense for the brand's funny, candid, youthful voice. And this is, again, coming from HubSpot. The episode or the link to the HubSpot article is in the description, the episode description. Now, this is what makes people feel connected to Spotify, right? Wherever you see it, it's that same funny, candid, youthful voice. It's unwavering brand consistency. Regardless of the channel, on wherever you choose to engage in it, you're going to get that same feeling. Now, for me, I try to use the purple and yellow across all my channels so it all looks the same. Now, as I continue to understand my brand voice, the more I tweak it to make sure it stays consistent, the more I will learn about it and the better that I will get at it. And that's what I recommend to you. The more you look at it and tweak it to make sure that it gives the same feeling, right? This Age of Jeremy, this fun, purple, yellow, business, energy, youthfulness, funny, down to earth feeling, right? That's what I want people to see when they see it, so they can know, okay, this is a guy just like me who likes fun stuff, likes board games, like video games, but he has an education in business. He's an entrepreneur. That's something that I can do also. That's what I want people to feel when they see it. And I may not be doing that just yet, or may not be portraying that just yet, but we're working on it. So that brand voice continues to get better and better. But the point is that you need to continuously look at it to see how you can make it better and better, right? Now, however you do that and however you look at that brand voice needs to stay consistent across all of the platforms. And more importantly, you need to look at your brand and make sure the message is clear wherever people interact with your brand. And it's super, super important that anytime anybody comes in contact with whatever your brand is, whether it's on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, wherever it is, I cannot beat this to death enough, right? And say the same thing over and over. It all has to stay consistent. The feeling all has to stay the same because it's about remembering that feeling. That is the most important thing. And the better that people remember that feeling, the more that when they see it, they're going to interact with it, especially if it's content, or they're going to feel that way when they see that brand. And that is about that brand voice being the same across all channels. All right, that does it for the show. I hope those 5 tips help you start on your journey for content marketing strategy, for your content marketing strategy. And remember, I got this inspiration and content from HubSpot, so make sure to check out their full article in the episode description. There's going to be a link there. Also, don't forget our Freedom Conference is on sale. It's going to be April 22nd and 23rd. That is the 3T Warrior Freedom Conference by 3T Warrior Events. Virtual seats are available for sale as well. So if you're not in the Phoenix metropolitan area, you won't have to fly here. You can see it all virtually. Link to the conference page is in the episode description. You can also check out my link tree, which a link to that is in my Instagram feed and my TikTok feed and my Twitter feed and in the episode description as well. So thank you so much. And remember, be thankful, grateful, and kind. We will talk at you next time. Goodbye. Thank you for listening to The Age of Jeremy. Make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcatcher. If you can do me a favor, please rate this podcast if your podcatcher allows you to. Talk to you soon.
Okay, everybody, it's Michael E. Cullen II.
And I'm Sesame and Carta from the All Too Real 2 podcast. We're passionate about movies, TV, and pretty much all things pop culture.
Dive into the chaos of failed sitcoms, direct-to-video sequels, and the quirky realms of cinema and TV.
Join us every Thursday for your dose of All Too Real 2 entertainment.
We'll guide you through debates like whether Howard the Duck qualifies as a superhero.
Ponder if Larry the Cable Guy could be the new Rock or Schwarzenegger.
Discover if some shows and movies should have stayed in the cutting room.
Ever heard of a sitcom featuring that dictator with the funny mustache? Well, we watched it.
We're dedicated to unraveling the peculiarities of pop culture, sometimes with awesome guests.
So, if you're into the eccentric world of pop culture,
listen and subscribe to All Too Real 2.
Available wherever you find podcasts
and on Age of Radio.